If you're watching this, you're looking for the reason not to give up on yourself. This video is that reason. This is the one thing you need to do before walking away. You're in a one-sided relationship with the most important person in your life. You show up for everyone else's problems, listen to their struggles, offer them endless patience and understanding. But when it comes to yourself, you've gone silent. There's that moment when you're lying in bed and your mind is begging you for just one reason to keep trying. Just one reason to believe you're worth the effort. It feels like that Pink song where she's pleading for something to hold on to.
Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough.
Except you're having this conversation with yourself. Here's what I'm going to show you today. This isn't another self-help strategy that demands you suddenly love yourself. This is about self-forgiveness. Because before you can build yourself up, you need to stop tearing yourself down. You've become the person everyone calls when their world is falling apart. You listen for hours, offer advice, send encouraging texts. You're the friend who remembers birthdays, who shows up with soup when someone's sick, who celebrates other people's wins like they're your own. But when was the last time you sat with your own thoughts without immediately judging them? When did you last ask yourself what you actually need instead of what you should be doing? Here's the exhaustion you don't recognize. You are emotionally available for everyone in your life except yourself. Your own inner voice has become invisible background noise, something to ignore while you focus on more important things. Here's what self-neglect actually looks like in real life. You call it being productive when you work through lunch again. You call it being selfless when you say yes to every request while your own goals collect dust. You call it being strong when you push through exhaustion instead of admitting you need rest. The moment you realize what's happening is brutal. You're sitting there, maybe after another day of giving everything to everyone else, and you catch yourself literally begging your own mind for just one reason to keep going. Just one reason to believe you're worth the effort you give everyone else. Traditional self-help is going to fail you here. It asks you to run a marathon when you can barely walk. The truth is, before you can run the race, you have to repair the engine. I want to tell you about someone who almost gave up on themselves completely. They were the person everyone relied on, the one with the perfect advice for everyone else's problems. But inside, they were having the same conversation you might be having right now. Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop trying to fix your relationship with yourself and start trying to repair it. You're not broken. You're just in a relationship that's been neglected for too long. Think about it this way. If you had a friend who you'd been ignoring for months, you wouldn't walk up to them and demand they immediately trust you again. You'd start small. You'd acknowledge what happened and slowly rebuild that connection. Step 1 is acknowledging the abandonment without turning it into another reason to beat yourself up. You've been treating yourself like an afterthought, and that's human. It doesn't make you selfish to admit this. It doesn't make you weak to recognize you've been running on empty. The acknowledgement sounds like this: I've been so focused on taking care of everyone else that I forgot to take care of myself. I'm not broken for doing this. I'm just tired. Step 2 is starting small conversations with yourself like you would with a friend you're trying to reconnect with. Not deep, life-changing conversations, just check-ins. Start with simple questions. How are you feeling right now? What do you need today? What would make this day a little easier? Listen to the answers without immediately jumping into solution mode. Most people skip this step because it feels selfish or pointless, but you wouldn't skip checking in with a friend you care about. Your relationship with yourself deserves the same attention. Step 3 is creating what I call listening appointments. These are specific times when you actually hear your own needs and dreams without judgment or immediate action plans. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit somewhere comfortable and ask yourself what you've been trying to tell yourself lately. What dreams have you been pushing aside? What needs have you been ignoring? Just listen. Don't fix, don't plan, don't judge. Just hear yourself out. The person I mentioned earlier started with just these 3 steps. They were skeptical at first because it seemed too simple. But after a few weeks of actually listening to themselves, they realized they'd been carrying dreams they'd forgotten they had. They'd been ignoring needs that were completely reasonable. But this is where you face the real test. When you start prioritizing yourself after years of putting others first, you're going to get hit with an intense wave of guilt. Understand this. That guilt is not a sign you are being selfish. It's just the sound of a broken pattern fighting to survive. The guilt will tell you that you're being unfair to people who depend on you. It will remind you of all the times others needed you and you showed up. But here's the truth. You can't pour from an empty cup and you've been running on fumes for too long. You're also going to face resistance from people who are used to you being their emotional support system. Some people in your life have gotten comfortable with you being endlessly available. When you start setting boundaries, they might push back. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you include yourself in the circle of people you care about. It means you recognize that your needs matter too, not just everyone else's. The person in my story had to have some difficult conversations with people who were used to unlimited access to their time and energy. But something interesting happened. The people who truly cared about them were supportive. The ones who got angry revealed something important about the relationship. When you start treating yourself with the same compassion you give others, you're not becoming selfish, you're becoming whole. Here's what most self-improvement content gets wrong. It focuses on building yourself up without addressing why you've been tearing yourself down in the first place. Forgiveness is the missing piece that makes everything else possible. You can't hate yourself into a version of yourself you love. You can't criticize yourself into lasting change. But you can forgive yourself into freedom. The three-part forgiveness process starts with acknowledge. Not the surface-level acknowledgement we talked about earlier, but the deeper recognition of what you've actually been doing to yourself. You've been your own worst critic while being everyone else's biggest supporter. Acknowledge sounds like this. I have been harder on myself than I would ever be on another person. I have held myself to impossible standards while giving others grace for their mistakes. I have treated my own struggles as weaknesses while treating others' struggles as understandable human experiences. The second part is understand. Why did you develop this pattern? Most of the time, it started as protection. Maybe you learned early that your worth came from what you could do for others. Maybe you believed that being hard on yourself would motivate you to be better. Understanding doesn't mean excusing the behavior. It means recognizing that you developed these patterns for reasons that made sense at the time. You were trying to survive, to be loved, to be valuable. You just chose methods that ended up hurting you. The third part is release. This is where you consciously choose to let go of the old way of relating to yourself. Release sounds like this. I release the belief that I have to earn my own compassion. I release the idea that being hard on myself makes me stronger. I release the pattern of treating myself as less important than everyone else. Here's something practical. Bookmark this video. When you feel like giving up on yourself again, come back here. Let this be your home base. Your reminder that you deserve the same kindness you give others. The person I've been telling you about, that was me 3 years ago. I was the friend everyone called in crisis, the one with endless patience for others and none for myself. I almost gave up on everything because I couldn't see my own worth. The relationship reset method saved my life, not dramatically, not overnight, but slowly and surely. I learned to talk to myself like someone I cared about instead of someone I was disappointed in. You're not alone in this struggle. The fact that you're watching this video means you're ready to change the most important relationship in your life. You're ready to stop abandoning yourself and start showing up for the person who needs you most. You deserve the same compassion you give others. That's not a nice idea or a feel-good platitude. That's the foundation of a life worth living. When self-doubt creeps in again, come back to this video. Let it remind you that you're worth the effort, worth the patience, worth the love you so freely give to everyone else. Now that you've given yourself permission to stop tearing yourself down, you're ready for the next step, building the actual habits that make you unstoppable. I put together another video called 3 Non-Negotiable Habits for Your Future. Self that shows you the exact habits I use to lock in my confidence and stay focused, even on days when I feel like quitting. Click the video on screen right now. I'll see you there. And if you want more honest, actionable strategies for building your future self, hit that subscribe button.